Greetings, this is M squared, and we're going to talk about domain and range. When you're first learning about functions, they might ask you those questions. What's the domain and range of this function? So these are all functions. Sometimes they give us tables. If we want to find the domain, what they're asking is they're asking for the x's. What are all the x's? And range, they're asking for all the y's. And that's it. It's that easy. And how I remember that is x comes before y in the alphabet, d comes before r. So domain goes with x, range goes with y's. So if I want to find the domain, there's different ways to write this. This is one of the ways. They'll say domain, and then you just list all the x's, -1, 0, 1, 2. And that's your domain. Range. I'm supposed to have one of those little braces there. It's 2, 4, and 0. And sometimes teachers are picky about putting them in order. Sometimes they're not. But when there are 2 y's listed, you don't need to put them both. 2 is part of the range, but you don't have to put both of them. Sometimes when I'm really lazy, I like shortcuts, I'll just say domain, range when it's in a table. If I had a worksheet or something. When you get into graphs, it's a little trickier. So domain is x. Remember, this is your x-axis. So what you're looking for is, does it go that way, left and right? And you'll see that my arrow is going down and left forever, and right and down forever. So the left and right, the domain, is all real numbers. And sometimes we put that fancy little r there to mean real numbers. So for the range, it's not all real numbers, because you'll notice there's no values up here. It starts here and goes down. So we have to find out what that y is. Remember, range is y, so we're going to go from the x-axis down, 1, 2. So I know that all the y's less than or equal to -2 are where the range is. Okay, this is the line. It goes up and left forever, up and right forever, down and left forever. So the domain is all real numbers, and the range is all real numbers. The lines are pretty easy that way. So this parabola, notice it's going right and left forever. That means the domain is all real numbers. But the range looks like it starts right here and goes up forever. So we have to figure out what that is. So we go up from the x-axis, 1, 2, 3. So that must mean y is greater than or equal to 3. And sometimes you write y such that y is greater than or equal to 3. It all depends on the teacher. There's set builder notation. There's all sorts of different notations. So you'll have to ask your teacher which one they want. And now for equations. If you don't know what the equation looks like, sometimes that can be difficult. So hopefully you remembered y equals mx plus b. That's a line. So that means the domain and the range are all real numbers. There's my shortcut again. This is a parabola. If you don't remember that, it's because I know that because it's a squared and an x. There's nothing bigger than a squared. So to find out exactly what, I don't know if you remember where the x-intercepts and the y-intercepts are, I just like to factor. Remember, to find the x-intercepts, you set y equals 0. To find the y-intercept, you set x equal to 0. But what I know here is, when I set y equal to 0, that I have a 0 at 0 and a 0 at 2. So I know that I have 2 points on the graph. That means I know that somewhere on this line 1, x equals 1, is my vertex. So I'm going to plug 1 back in for x and see what I get. When I do that, I get 1 minus 2, which is -1. So here's my parabola. Graphing calculator works too. Okay, so now I know that the domain is all real numbers because that's a parabola, and that the range, it starts at -1 and it's bigger than that. So it's all the y's that are greater than or equal to -1. Here my domain is 1, 2, 3, and 4, and my range 3, 4, and 7, because there's 2 4s. And again, sometimes they write them like that. Okay, hopefully that helps. Good luck with that. M squared signing out.